Hello everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Talking Cars. We don't normally start off in the dirt, but today we have our Ct125, so we're gonna have to do a little bit of some dirt stuff real quick, just for fun. Woohoo! Today I want to talk about, well, the Honda 125 series, everything they make with this engine, which is an option for everyone in my opinion. We'll talk about this bike. I also want to talk about just fun for no money. I say no money, but I mean little bits of money in comparison to how much motorsport can cost. Because yes, a Porsche is very expensive, but how much fun can you have on a 125 Honda? Let's get into it. Okay, welcome back. Alright, so the intro, still a work in progress. I got a lot of work to do on that. And I've had a lot of work to do, presumably, on my motovlogging format. I had a lot of problems with it when I was trying to do it the first time around. So, I'm working with what I got, and hopefully it's usable for today's footage. And if not, I'll be very upset. And Alex, if you're editing Alex right now and this video is completely trash and you can't use any of it, previous Alex is sorry. Okay, so the Honda 125. This is a Ct125, which is the Trail Cub. Our neighbors are getting everything going for their weekend morning. Bye-bye. So this is the Hunter Cub, or Ct125, Trail 125. It's got several different names, but ultimately what it is a well, I call it a dirt scooter. It's not really a scooter, but I call it a dirt scooter because it's not quite a dirt bike. It's meant to be off-roady. It's meant to be used out in the trails and stuff like that, hence the name. And it's got a little 5-speed, no, maybe it's a 4-speed. Either way, it's got a little centrifugal clutch transmission. So if you notice here, no clutch lever here. It's just up, down, and up, down, like an ATV. And the Trail is, let's see here, make sure we're safe. The only problem with these small bikes is they are slow. You got to make sure you have lots of room. So the Trail version of the 125 series of stuff, let me put my visor down, is basically 125 cc's, as the name hints at. This is the Ct125, or Hunter Cub 125, or Trail 125. Any one of those names mean the same thing. They mean this little bugger of fun. And Honda makes this little motor in all kinds of different flavors. So they have this one, the Honda Ct125, which is no clutch. Well, I say no clutch. Oh, watch out, little quail. Centrifugal clutch, and a little bit more off-roady. They have the Monkey, which does have a clutch and is still kind of off-roady. They have the Dax, which just came out, which I'm not really sure where it fits in, but it's a little bit more mini moto style, but still kind of off-roady. Not sure if that one has a clutch or not. The Grom, which is the most popular, which is basically a mini street bike with a clutch. And that one has even an extra gear in the transmission, if I'm not mistaken. And then there is the Navi, which actually doesn't have the same engine, but is still a mini moto from Honda nonetheless. And that one actually is a scooter, like a CVT scooter, but a very small one. And then they have the Honda Cub, Super Cub, which is the old school Honda, like most popular vehicle ever made in the history of time. Honda motorcycle frame design. They crossover frame and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I have that version still around, still for sale today. I would have one if I had a use case for one. And I think I've covered them all. So yes, the Monkey, the Dax, the Ct125, the Hunter Cub, and the Navi. I think that's all of them. Okay, so as we see here, the 125, you can have a lot of fun on this little thing, on these little mountain roads. Now, I don't recommend taking it where there's too much traffic on high speed, like 2-lane highways and byways, because it does struggle to do 60. But on these little curvy mountains like this, oh man, you can have a lot of fun. You could just get after it. And the thing is you're still getting 130 miles to the gallon. 130 miles to the gallon on this little sucker, you know. Cue that line about the hog from Dumb and Dumber.
I can get 70 miles to the gallon on this hog.
Yeah, you could ride this thing to Aspen, no problem. You could have a ball doing it too. And it's not afraid to go off-road at all. And it'll handle little road stuff pretty easy. Mine is completely stock. I still have the stock tires on it. Some people put some more off-roady tires on it to give a little better off-roading performance, which I probably will do eventually, but for right now, I'm just enjoying it the way it is. Interesting little tidbit about the Ct125 as opposed to, say, the Monkey, and I'm assuming the Dax, and definitely the Grom, and definitely the Cub. I had to get on a 6-month waiting list to get this bike when I bought it. They were very in demand. Everybody wanted one, and so nobody had them as far as the Honda dealers went. So I was on a waiting list to get mine, and I finally did get mine, and I was very happy about it. And the waiting list thing was a thing for a while, but now, in 2024, Honda released a new color. So they were red when they first hit the shores, and then they went to green for a while, and then now that they're not green anymore, they're yellow. And now that they're yellow, it seems like the demand has dropped significantly. So if you want one, excuse me, if you want one and you don't mind yellow, you could get one. You can get one right now. And if you do mind yellow and you're like, I refuse to have anything yellow in my life, I just absolutely will not do that, well, you can get a used one. There's plenty of them out there. A lot of people are selling theirs these days, and they're not really that expensive. So let's get into the fun for money. Now, as far as the bang for dollar factor of a 125 series Honda, well, they are pretty good. But the CTs are a little more pricey than the rest of them. But you can get a Monkey or a Grom for pretty low money in the big scheme of motorsport. And in terms of motorcycling, there are probably better bargains. But if you're looking for something new and, you know, friendly, because that was my thing. I wanted something that was new and friendly because this was my very first road legal motorcycle. Well, motorcycle is a kind word for what it is, but it was my first road legal two-wheeled vehicle, and I wanted something that was, you know, very easy to ride, efficient, reliable, and didn't cost a lot of money. So these things on the used market these days are about $3,500. It's pretty much the same for the Monkey, a Grom, or any of the other ones. The Super Cub I've seen new for that kind of money because they do not sell that well. So you can maybe even get a new one for that kind of money. But if you wanted a new Monkey or a Grom or whatever, it's a little bit more dollars. It's more like $4.5 after you get out the door with stickers and all the rest of that stuff. So look at that big old Tundra. So but anyway, a few $1,000s and you could just have a ton of fun at 130 miles to the gallon and a smile on your face, reliably, comfortably, and just having a ball. And we want to take this one to our mini moto track, our local mini moto track, and I want to do some laps on it just for funsies, because I think it'd be a ball. I love taking it out here on my little canyon roads and just ripping on it. And you're full throttle all the time. So you want to talk about like slow car fast is fun or slow bike fast is fun. This thing just delivers constant smiles. I love this thing. And the thing that I've only put, 452 miles on it is crazy, but you have to remember that about 300 of those miles were off-road. I've driven it to work one time, that's 120 miles. I think I've driven it to town one time, that's like 10 or 20 miles. And so the rest of it is pretty much all off-road miles. And so this thing has seen plenty of trails, plenty of off-roading, plenty of adventures, but boy, the off-roading is fun, but I sure do love just tearing up these little canyon roads on it because it's so fun. You're just full throttle. You don't have to look at the speed because I promise you, you're not speeding. It may feel fast, but it isn't fast. But that's okay, because you're just kind of basically scootering around. It reminds me of a scooter a lot, even though it's technically not one, because it does have gears. But because of this, I do have kind of an affinity towards scooters, and now that I've ridden some of the more name brand ones like Vespas and stuff like that, I definitely think scooters deserve way more attention than they get. Scooters are super cool and super fun, and you should love them. But anyway, so back to our little Honda here, and going fast for cheap, or not going fast for cheap, but having fun for cheap. Yes, absolutely. The Honda 125 series, it doesn't matter what flavor you like. Oh, I think we see a Scooter Brother ahead. But anyway, any flavor you like is super fun and cheap. I'm gonna try to catch this Scooter Brother. I hope it's the guy on the Vespa. I really hope it's the guy on the Vespa that I've seen before. Oh, we are getting after it to try to catch him now. No, I don't think it is. I think it's like a DR or something like that. It's not even a scooter. It looks like a dual sport. We're going to catch him, though, for sure. I get my inner Valentino Rossi going on my scoot. We're catching him. Yeah, we caught him. He doesn't even have mirrors. He doesn't even know I'm back here. Oh man, how fun. We're just gonna follow this guy, I guess. He doesn't know I'm back here. He doesn't have any mirrors. That's illegal, my friend. You gotta put at least some bar ends on that thing. It looks like a 600, like a Honda 600. It's a lot more bike than I've got, that's for sure. But anywho, when it comes to bikes, I think they're hard to beat for the fun factor for $1. And I could wax poetic about cheap cars too, and maybe I will at some point in a different video. I think I have a lot to say about that too, because there's so much fun you can have on cheap cars as well. I think the difference is that bikes out of the box are cheap. You don't have to wait for the depreciation. They just are. Now, there are exceptions to that, obviously, because there are, like, you know, Harleys that cost $40,000, which I just don't understand. But things like my Yamaha MT-03, which new was like $6,000 out the door in the garage for $6K. It's hard to beat that kind of fun for that kind of money and still have reliability. It's like total reliability. It's brand new. There's literally nothing that could go wrong right now. And it's the same with these little Hondas. I mean, Honda's known to be just super duper reliable. That guy up there's bike, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell with dual sports because they never really change much. But that design, so presumably his bike could be like 30, 35 years old. And it's a Honda, so it's just going to keep on keeping on. And I think that's what's really cool about them. But I found that, at least with motorcycles, it's really difficult to have more fun for less money, honestly. It really is. Now, I have somewhat expensive taste, but if you look at the bike I just bought, the 96 PC800, if you were like wanted an intro into motorcycling, right? And you were looking for a bike to just kind of get into it for like basically no money. They finally realized I'm back here. Anyway, peace out. Anyway, so I kind of cut him off a little bit, but that's okay. I was trying to give him the peace sign crossways. Having fun for cheap. Yes, you can have like immense fun for cheap on these things. It's unbelievable. My new Honda, yes, my new old Honda, that's what I was talking about. My 96 PC800, $2,500. Oh, you can't have a synthwave dream for less money, I swear. That thing is just right out of the 90s. It's super fun. It's pretty darn reliable, and it was really, really inexpensive. So if you're looking for an entry into motorcycling, like older bikes are kind of the way. If you're not trying to spend a lot of money, but if you do want to spend a few more pennies, and I'm talking about pennies here, a couple hundred extra more bucks, and you really start to see a big jump in bike quality with just a little bit extra cheddar. And what I mean by that is, when you look at cars that are 10,000 versus cars that are let's say 12,000, the quality isn't that much of a difference. Like, yeah, there's some quality differences, but for the most part they're pretty close. But a motorcycle that's like that same percentage basically in price, so 10,000 versus 12,000, that's like a pretty big jump in motorcycles. But the 8,000 to like 10,000 is probably the biggest jump, really. That jump right there is huge in terms of like what kind of motors you can get, what kind of bikes you can get, brand spanking new. Used, it's a whole different story. I mean, you can really get a really, really crazy cool bike for $12,000 used if you were willing to do so. But I wouldn't recommend it. I'd just say just take like 6 or 7 and go get yourself something awesome and fun and reliable on the used market, and then just have a ton of fun with it. But the Ct125 is a lot of fun, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. It does have some drawbacks. First, and probably most important, like I mentioned before, it is quite slow. It struggles to do 60 miles an hour, especially if there's a hill or, you know, you have wind involved. But when you're behind someone like we are right now, it'll keep up for the most part, because most people go, at least for me on the mountain roads, a little slower. So it's easy for me to keep my momentum going and kind of just hang. But if you're trying to go up a hill and you have cars closing in on you, you're not going to be able to outrun them. The acceleration is slow, the top speed is slow. It's really meant to be kind of a around town bike. So going big miles on it is not really going to happen. You can do it, I suppose, but there's a lot of better bikes for it. If you have a long commute like I do, this is not the right machine for you. And I know that, and I've only commuted with it once, just to say that I had done it. So even though like right now I said before I want to film on Fridays and was like to commute, my normal commute. This video, we're not commuting, we're not going to work, it's Saturday morning. A lot of that boils down to I've had so many problems with cameras and microphones and trying to get stuff to work in the moto vlog sphere, and here I am again trying to do it, and it's just so difficult. A lot of trials and tribulations there. So if the quality is not as good on this video, I'm sorry. I am doing everything I can to try to make it halfway decent. It's hard. It's so easy to film stuff and have good audio unless a motorcycle is involved and you have it in a helmet. Then all of a sudden everything goes to crap and it's impossible to get anything to work right. But anywho, but this thing reminds me of that like cart thing that Nacho Libre has. Because the way it accelerates, the way the throttle response is, it's just like it reminds me of Nacho Libre so much. I just can't help it. It's just what comes to my mind. Yeah, I mean, for those unaware, I did start a motovlogging channel at one point, and I really liked it, but the problem that I had was microphones. I had a lot of problems with microphones in that whole series that I tried to do, and then I got an even faster bike, so the wind problem became even more of a problem. So here we are, trying again with the same equipment. I have upgraded nothing. We're getting followed by another vehicle, but I'm keeping up with this vehicle in front of me mostly. Oh darn, he's getting away. And this is the straightaway where everybody's going to speed past. So we're going to have to do the Honda Ct125's favorite move, pulling over and letting a faster vehicle go by. Oh, he went around me anyway. Okay, he was impatient. He didn't want to wait for the passing yellows. Okay, that's fine. I was going to pull over anyway. I was ready. I was engaged in the off-road mode. I was ready to jump off and still hold 50 miles an hour in the dirt. Okay. Yes, the long straightaway. We're going to top this baby out. The fastest I've ever seen downhill with a tailwind on this bike was 64 miles an hour. That's the fastest I've ever seen it go. But most of the time on a flat, you're doing like 55, 56, something like that, which is great for around town. That's plenty of speed for around town. But out here in the rural 2 lanes, it's a struggle. It's a struggle most of the time. But that's why I try to catch up to somebody and just kind of stay with them. Usually like a truck, an 18-wheeler or sorts, something like that. But yeah, still, even when you're struggling to keep up with traffic, oh, this thing is so much fun. I just have a smile the whole time. I can't even explain how happy this little machine makes me. You can't be upset on it, honestly. Like if you're having a bad day, take this thing out and just do a little, 10 or 20 mile loop, and you're just gonna have the time of your life. So we're gonna take it through the toge area, which is not really a toge. I guess, I don't know. Some people are really particular about what is and is not toge. But to me, this little section right here is fun. How about let's just go with that? Toge or not, it's fun. It's fun, and we're having fun for like no money. Am I running out of gear? Yeah, okay. We got one more gear. All right. That's the thing about not really having a gear indicator, is sometimes I do find myself that I'm not in top gear even though I think that I am. And because the motors just kind of sounds the same to me, I can't really tell. But anyway, here we are. It's a shame. See, this is when the Ct125 is faster than traffic, because you can get in and out of these little twisties so quickly and just keep momentum up that you'll outrun the BMW X5 who can't stay in his lane. That thing must be tough to handle, The ultimate driving machine must be a tough vehicle to control if you can't keep it in the lanes. Or you're a lazy driver. I wonder which one it is. I don't know. But we're not going to go much further than this. We're just going to turn around and go right back through this little section. Because I don't have anywhere to be. I'm just out here filming. So I don't really want to finish the rest of this road because it doesn't do anything cool after this point. So we're just going to turn around. We're going to come up to the edge up here and find a safe spot where I can get a good visual. Probably like right here. Seems good. The other thing is not having a clutch makes downshifting really weird. Because it's like ham-fisting the clutch constantly. I've had a lot of cheap cars, and I've had a lot of fun with cheap cars. For sure, I've done that. But bikes are like a different level of fun for money, because the kind of car you can get for the kind of bike you can get, the same like dollar for dollar, is wild. I mean, it's really, really wild. Isn't the best example of like getting the most bang for your buck, because this bike is kind of expensive for what it is, but motorcycles in general are super duper fun for money. And if you're looking at like a used Grom, which is the street bike version of this, used Groms are awesome and they cost nothing. Like, they're so inexpensive. If you want to learn how to ride a motorcycle, like go take a motorcycle safety course, get a good helmet, some good gloves, and some boots. Go on Craigslist Marketplace and go buy a used Honda Grom and have the time of your life for nothing. And people are going to tell you, like, that bike's too small, you're going to outgrow it. Excuse this, excuse that. It's too small, it's too slow. Whatever their excuse is, don't listen to them. I'm telling you, don't listen to them. Buy the bike, enjoy the bike, have fun. If you want to get a bigger, better bike, you can. And you could either sell the Grom, which I don't recommend, or you can keep the Grom. You could keep the Grom and then have this great little bopping around bike. And if you end up going to races, you could take it to the pits and bop around the pits with it. You can go get groceries with it. You can go do all kinds of fun stuff. That's what I did with this bike. This was my first bike. I was riding it around for a while. I ended up getting a bigger and faster bike, and then another bigger and faster bike, and then now I have multiple bikes. But I kept this bike, and I will always keep this bike because it's so fun, and it's so fun to just hop on and bop around on and just go for a little ride. Like this morning, Saturday morning, it's like 8 in the morning. I'm out here just, bopping. I'm having so much fun right now, and it doesn't cost me anything because the bike's just in my garage. And I get insurance and gasoline, and gas is not even really a factor. So you can just hop on this thing at any time and just have so much fun. And this is what it's all about, in my opinion. This is what motorcycles are for. You could just have so much fun with hardly any investment. Yes, you could have an R1, and that's fun and dandy. Or you could have a small displacement motorcycle that you bought for pennies on the dollar, and you could have just as much fun, in my opinion. Slow bike fast is the way. I'm telling you, it's the same as cars. Going slow and just getting after it is so much fun. Getting your lean in. I'm not even that good. You know, I have no track experience or anything. I'm just out here just having my own fun, riding my own ride, and it's great. It's fantastical. You know, like I said, I'd like to take this little thing to the mini moto track and kind of learn how to corner it. It's got really thin tires. That's the thing I worry about, is the sidewall action on this thing is like basically none. So I do worry that one day I'm just going to go further than this thing's got grip to give. But until that day happens, I'm just going to keep going. And the best thing about it is you're having so much fun and you're not even going fast enough to even have a cop look in your direction. That's the greatest part. To you, or at least to me, on this bike, I feel like you're flying at certain moments in it. Especially you're going downhill and you're just going and going and going and you're having so much fun. And like you look at the speed limit, you're doing like 60. Speed limit on this road is 55. A cop's not even going to look in your general direction, which is awesome. It's so much fun. Now, if you live somewhere where like, well, I was about to say if you live somewhere where you have to take fast roads, but I mean, is that anywhere? Is there anywhere where you have to take a fast road? Because if I live in like the most rural environment in that way, in terms of road speeds around me, like the closest paved road to me is a 60, well, it's a 55, but people are doing 60, 65 mile an hour 2-lane highway. And so to me, like, this bike can hang with that, not super well, but it can do it. It's much happier on little back roads and stuff. Like, even this is a 55 mile an hour 2-lane, and we caught some cars. Now this is not as fast as the other road because it's more windy, so people don't go as fast. But if you have at least a few little back roads and stuff you know about where you can kind of shortcut some of the more straight, faster sections, it's awesome. Or even off-road, because yes, it can do off-road. It does off-road quite well, and I've taken it on many a tough trail. Matter of fact, I've gone off-roading with my friends, and I think those videos are probably on my other channel. But either way, there are videos of us riding with my friend's DR. Is that Suzuki DRZ? Yeah, that's what it is. A 400cc true dual sport, and me on my little dirt scooter, and us just having the ball. So this is a lot of fun for like no money. I hope the speed is conveyed okay on the camera. It might just look like I'm just like saying how great this is and it's the most boring thing ever. That could happen. I don't remember that happening in the moto vlogs, but of course that was a different angle. I don't remember having that problem. It just seemed like normal, but every other problem in the book I had, and I could still be having right now, not even knowing it. And then I'll be mad and have to film tomorrow too. Well, I mean, having to film tomorrow, is that such a bad thing? But anyway, the Dice of Destiny chose the Ct125, and I'm determined to get it its screen time, but I just have run into every single roadblock imaginable for getting this thing its screen time. Caught me a bug. Oh, one time on this road, when I first started learning to ride, I was riding and I had my jacket unzipped a little bit, and a bee went right down my shirt and stung me, and it was not fun. So there are some cautions for motorcycles. People tell you, like, you gotta watch out for traffic and other cars. Yeah, that's true. There's stuff they don't tell you about too, like rocks and bees and other things that'll just come up on you. You don't even know. There's no way to prepare for it. It just happens. You don't even slow down for the corners. You just full throttle whole time. Don't touch the brakes. Just like when I used to race my Corolla. Like, you just pin it to win it, and don't hit the brake. Never lift till you see God or a checkered flag. Yeah. I think, as far as our world is concerned, there's a lot of things you could say negative, I think, about anywhere and everywhere. But on days like this, where it's like 75 degrees, sunny, I'm on my little motorized vehicle, just whipping through rural America. I can't complain. Life's good. Life's very good. And I think that's probably this bike's biggest magic trick, is it can turn any bad day, any crappy morning, into fun immediately, and it's instantaneous. If you have anything that happens wrong in your day, you have one of these bad boys, hop on that thing, go hit the twisties, you'll come back with a smile on your face. Now, how long it lasts after that, I can't really tell you. Maybe it will last, or maybe it won't. But for the moment, for the 20-30 minutes you went out to go rip on your scoot, you were smiling, and I think that's enough. I think that's enough. You look at how much therapy is, how much we spend on trying to make ourselves happy on stuff like shopping therapy and all these kinds of other things, other excuses people can use. I'm telling you, you just need a rural road, a little scoot. At least that's all I need. I mean, I didn't even have a bad morning this morning. I had a great morning, but this is just making it even better. I will say one other thing about this bike is I have mentioned that it does get 130 miles to the gallon, but it only does hold 1 gallon. So you will find yourself at the pump a lot for a vehicle that has that good of gas mileage, and it's just because it only holds a gallon. So if you ride as much as I do, you'll be putting gas in it a lot. But the bike I bought to replace this bike was a Honda Ct125L. And I've now learned that if Honda puts L after the engine size, that bike is lame. L is for lame. But anyway, the Ct125L has a bigger engine. It's a bigger frame bike. It is carbureted, but it was super cheap. I think they're like $3,000 new $3,000. Now, that's a lot of fun for the money too, but honestly, if you have the extra cheddar, get something from the 125 series. It's worth it. Or just get a used one. It's worth it. The XR disappointed me, I think is the word. But it did serve its purpose. I rode my first 1,000 miles of true like commuting to work with that bike. I mean, I was riding this one around town and stuff, but work seemed too far for me, especially having never done it. So I did it on the XR, rode my first 1,000 miles, did its first oil change, and sold it to a new owner because I didn't enjoy the bike. I thought this bike was better, and had I known what the commute would have been like, I just would have had this the whole time and never even bothered with the XR. But that's fine. The XR was a stepping stone to the bikes I have now. But the XR, whew, it couldn't corner like this thing. It could not stop like this thing. It could accelerate about the same, which is funny because it has 25 more cc's, but it's just a bigger, heavier bike. So it accelerates like really pretty similarly in a drag race. Me and my friend took them both out and just ripped on this exact road. And basically, what it boiled down to is I'm lighter than my friend, and so whatever bike I rode, that bike was faster. That's how close they were in power. But he's a big guy, you know, as far as he's tall, and he just loves this machine. He's like, I wish I fit on it better. I'll look ridiculous, but it's too much fun. And it is too much fun, I'm telling you. Small motorcycles are a blast. And to be honest, as far as safety goes, if you're in a city with a lot of traffic and stuff, a bike this small can be a little dangerous because it's kind of hard to see. You're gonna have to really be defensive out there. But on these like rural tracks and stuff, I don't think these bikes are that dangerous in my opinion. I think these bikes are far more safe than having an R1. Because if you had a big fast bike, you're gonna be more tempted to scream down this. At least I will. I'll be wanting to scream down this thing and I don't know, go faster than I need to go, I guess. Motorcycles could do that to me. I really don't speed in cars, but motorcycles, I get a little bit more tempted, a little more easily. But this little bike, like, we are going full speed. It's the speed limit, so it's fine. And the straightaways are not that fun, I admit, but on the corners is where it shines. You can have so much fun, and to think the Grom corners even better than this because it has nice meaty meat tires on it and is more of a street bike, so it corners even better than this. This is really like a postal scooter on stilts. It's really quite strange to ride sometimes, but I found that I like it, and maybe it's just because it was my first, you know, street legal motorcycle, so I kind of got used to its little quirks and stuff, and I think it's fantastic. I've ridden a Grom before, and I really liked it, and I would love an opportunity to own a Grom. But much like the Honda Super Cub, I don't have a use case for the Grom. I don't have a use case for a Super Cub. I could like mini moto a Grom maybe, but my loving wife has told me after I bought the PC800, well, I guess you're not getting a Grom, which basically is her way of saying you already spent your Grom money. Way to go, clown.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
So she's got a point there. The Grom thing may never happen and may be pushed off way. I don't really know. We have this and we have the MT-03. So when we want to go do some mini moto, supermoto kind of stuff, I've got some utensils, some tools. Woo! Got a little closer line on that one. The going down the hill is so fun. Going up's like, oh no. And I have had times where I've been on it and like one or two cars will catch up to you, and it feels like that scene in Dumb and Dumber. Whenever they're cruising through Aspen and they got a line of cars behind them and you're like, I'm looking for a spot to pull over. I'm trying to let you by. But it's because it is slow uphill. It'll do 55 on a flat, no problem. It'll do in the 60s going downhill, but uphill we're going 40, and I'm full bore on this thing. Oh, what was that? I thought I saw something interesting. We may have to turn around. The video was just getting ready to end too. Occasionally, if it is what I think it is, I'll have to take it, but it may not be. It may have been an optical illusion. Okay, I don't see anybody right here. I don't hear him. I don't hear anybody. Okay, turning around. Free beer. Just kidding, it's a yard sale. Dang, got me. All right, I guess we'll go all the way to the bottom of the hill again, just for fun. But I really just want to see what this is. I'm gonna pass it again. Oh, it's just like a piece of tissue paper. Okay. See, occasionally I find like stuffed animals on the side of the road, and if they're not super yucky and gross, I take them home for the dogs. Dogs like to play with them. It's like your own little personal roller coaster, and you can do it anytime you like, as many times as you'd like. Come on. Doesn't get better than this. As far as just, I mean, for me, everybody's got their thing, right? For me, what it boils down to is this little section of road. It's like 3 minutes from my house. I could hit it anytime I'd like, and I do. I come out here all the time just to hit this little canyon section. My bigger bikes, I typically take all the way up to the bigger canyon. So the bigger canyon, the 74, is where I typically take my bikes for canyon rides. But this little canyon's super fun. This canyon, it's not even a canyon. This little section of road is pretty fun for this little thing, when it's only a few minutes from my house. So it's kind of cool in that way. Okay, let's not get that close to the line this time. Let's see if we can do better. There we go. Oh, that was a perfect racing line. We're catching up to the Honda. Oh, the hybrid can't do it. Can't outrun me. I'm too fast. We are going faster than traffic, for sure. I could pass them if I had the opportunity to. I'm having to downshift because they're going slow. The thing is like when they get up to the straight and there's an area where they'll pull off and let me go by in the area that they're faster than me. And then they'll be like, why did I do this? I'm only faster than you down here. I'm not faster than you up there. And like if you have a couple of friends and they also have small bore bikes, you can go to little spots like that and just have races up and down the canyon all afternoon for nothing. I mean, come on. It's so good. It's so good out there in this world. You could go buy a cheap motorcycle. You can go buy a cheap muscle car. You can go just buy something that's cheap and fun and go out, even if you don't have friends, just by yourself and have a ball. I think that poor dude's broken down. Oh, did I see Dex cool out? Ooh, overheating. Dex cool. Worst coolant ever. Some people will fight you on that. Some people really believe it's not. Oh, the truck tried to pull out but couldn't make it. This may take a moment. This little section is hard to negotiate if you're a slow mover, because traffic's moving both ways, going about 60, and this is pretty much a blind corner over there, and that way is you don't have much lead room. So if you're gonna get it, you gotta get it. Come on, roll some coal there, friendo. There he goes. He's getting it. We may have to pull off too, though. Oh no, we're fine. We're just gonna catch up to them and use them as a blocker. Oh, can we catch them? That's the question. All right, now we're in a full-on race because they're gonna be going. don't know if I can catch him. We're gonna try though. I gotta get aerodynamic. Get down there. Don't let the wind slow me down. Should I grab another gear? Not sure if I should. Are we losing speed or gaining speed? Losing speed or gaining speed? I think we're just staying. Oh no. Oh no. Dang it, we're losing him. I'm losing speed. I got downshift. Come on, baby. Oh no. We're not gonna be able to catch him. Oh no. Like I said, everything's a drag race in this thing. It's fun. We are gonna have to pull over and let this guy go though. He was probably watching me like, this person's crazy. And we are crazy. It's fine. Your Buick Encore, who's the crazy one? You spent real life money on that thing. We're passing all the yards, and we're almost back to our starting position. So I'm gonna get back into the house. I'm gonna try to edit this thing up. Hopefully the camera's still running, because boy, that was just so much fun. And we will catch you guys on the next one. The Dice of Destiny will decide our next vehicle, and we'll have ourselves another fun time talking about cars, motorcycles, and whatever else comes to my little noggin. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Take it easy. Bye-bye.